Hello, I'm here today with Michael Locke and Tyler Maycath of the Harwich Conservation Trust. And they have a number of things to tell us about walks and evenings and so forth.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks for having us, Dinah.
yeah, it's
Thank you.
great to have you here again. So, Michael, do you want to start with telling us a little bit about the walks that you have planned coming up?
Sure, thanks. And folks can learn all about these different walks and events at our website, harwichconservationtrust.org. We've got this really interesting set of walks centered around the full moon of each of the summer months, June, July, and August. The next one coming up is Monday, July 30th.
Yes, there's a full moon coming up.
That's right.
In just a couple of days,
You
right?
see a photo there. That's actually, that full moon photo is taken by one of our volunteers. All of these photos taken by our volunteers. Amazing. That could be on the cover of National Geographic, I think. That's by Gus Romano. Thank you, Gus. So these walks take place around the time of the full moon in the evening, 6 to 8 p.m. They are in the Cape Cod National Seashore, so we acquired a special permit to have this walk in the seashore, all the way up north in Eastham. We're partnering with our sister land trust, the Eastham Conservation Foundation, which is celebrating their 40th anniversary year, HCT in 2018 celebrating our 30th anniversary year. Todd Kelly, 12th generation Cape Codder who hails from Chatham, and Marcus Hendricks, a native Wampanoag and Nipmuc heritage, are co-leading this walk. And it focuses on, there's Marcus, a nice photo of Marcus. It's taken by Rick Moriarty. Marcus and Todd talk about the life ways of the first people, the Native Americans that first came to this part of the East Coast and settled on this peninsula, and what their activities were like at that time of day. As day transitions to twilight, to nighttime. And it's a nice sunset photo by Gus Romano.
That is
Isn't that beautiful?
Amazing.
So it's a fascinating time of day because of that that daylight to nighttime transition. Todd and Marcus not only will be talking about some of the first peoples, the Native Americans, rituals and activities at that time of the day into night, but also talking about some of the natural history of the area. You can see this beautiful photo of the Nauset Marsh estuary in the distance while walking part of the bike path that extends from the Salt Ponds Visitor Center to Coast Guard Beach on the Atlantic. That's where the walk will finally end at Coast Guard Beach, and then they'll make a return trip back to the starting point. They'll also talk about some of the wildlife behavior during that diurnal or daytime through the twilight or crepuscular activity by wildlife into the nocturnal time. So $20 per person. Again, harwichconservationtrust.org. It's a fun walk.
Such a rich part of our history that so many people are not familiar with. I mean, we walk on that at the visitor center there and walk up to Coast Guard all the time.
Yes.
But to know more about the history and Native peoples and what they did years and years ago is just so, it is enriching.
It is.
For everyone's experience at the Cape.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity.
That's terrific. Great. And then I know you have the Henry Beston walks as well, is that right?
That's new for us this year, partnering again with Eastham Conservation Foundation and local author and historian Don Wilding. And he will lead a walk on Saturday, August 11th, starting at 10 a.m., also in the National Seashore. When folks register for these walks via our website, then you'll receive a confirmation email with driving directions to the walk starting point. There's Don shown there introducing the start of the walk to folks. It's about a 2-hour walk and makes its way past the salt pond embayment there that folks often see, one of those picture perfect postcard views from Route 6 as they're traveling through Eastham. And folks have been really enjoying this walk that focuses on the history of Henry Beston, who wrote the book, The Outermost House. Henry Beston was an ambulance driver, among other adventures and life experiences in World War I, came to the Cape, and as sort of a place of sanctuary, retreated to the outermost house to experience what it was like living on the outer beach throughout the 4 seasons over a 12-month period. So Henry Beston wrote about his experience out there in the outermost house, and Don Wilding wrote about Henry Beston and the Outermost House, a book about Henry Beston and the history of his connection to Eastham and Coast Guard Beach and the Outermost House, which washed away in the blizzard of '78, 40 years ago, this past February. But join the walk to learn all about it from Don Wilding. These photos taken by Vince DeWitt, one of our fantastic volunteer photographers, and Frank.
Yeah, you do have some amazing photography here.
Yes, yes. Beautiful views
Exquisite.
out here. It is, yeah. So that's another great walk. Again, Saturday, August 11th. That one's at 10 a.m.
Okay, great, good.
Yeah.
So Tyler, you want to talk a little bit about the land stewardship program, and you have some exciting things coming up too?
And we got another walk, I think.
We do,
coming
yes.
Up, yeah.
It's something new for us. We have a free sky watching event at Red River Beach. It's going to be the night of Sunday, August 12th. We have a volunteer amateur astronomer. He'll be there with his telescope. His name is Michael Payne. He's a local. And he's going to share the night sky with us. We're going to be able to see Venus and Jupiter and Perseus and Sagittarius. He's going to give us some tips for observing the night sky. It also coincides with the beginning of the Perseid meteor shower,
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
which
yeah.
is August 12th and 13th,
Fabulous.
and a new moon. So the sky viewing conditions should be perfect if it's clear.
Yes.
We have a cloud date.
We do. We
That's
do
right.
have an inclement weather cloud day, which is the following evening, Monday, August 13th. So the Perseid meteor shower is the annual August meteor shower. Tends to peak later in the night, but hopefully folks will see some meteors. It's when the Earth travels through the trail of the comet Swift-Tuttle. So this year it's supposed to be quite spectacular, so fingers crossed on that.
That's really
Isn't that great?
exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
really exciting. And what time exactly does that begin, and how do people register for it?
So it's free, and it's at 8:30 at night.
Okay.
Folks will gather,
So
8:30.
just show up at
Well,
Red River.
You got to register because space is limited.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
right. We have to limit it to about 20 people or so,
Oh, okay.
so everyone has an opportunity to observe with Michael.
Okay. Definitely need to get our
so-
bid in then early.
There'll be details on the web, but folks can register by emailing events@harwichconservationtrust.org.
Okay, good to know. All right.
It's exciting.
Right down the street from me. So
Yes,
very
right,
exciting.
right.
It's great.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So as far as land stewardship is concerned, we have a volunteer trail work event next Tuesday. It's going to be at 9 a.m. At the Bell's Neck Conservation Area. And there'll be details sent out to folks on our volunteer list. If you want to drop in, however, we will be meeting on Bell's Neck Road, off Great Western Road, so that side of the property. And we're going to be doing trail work from 9 to about 11 a.m. to clear some of the trails there.
Oh, I see. There's an example of some.
Such as
Clearing,
these,
that's
these
great.
folks from AmeriCorps. We did some, this is at the Muddy Creek Headwaters property, which we've been preparing to open to the public. And so hopefully that will happen soon as well.
And should people should get in touch with you if they want to come and help, or just show up?
Yes, they can email me at tyler@harwichconservationtrust.org.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I also wanted to share some data about our birds and our nest box monitoring program. We have a group of intrepid birders. They're really wonderful, and
Most birders seem to be intrepid, actually, in my experience.
Right.
There's a photo of a tree swallow feeding a nestling. So we have a lot of nest boxes that we monitor here at Thompson's Field, the Robert F. Smith Coldbrook Preserve, and at the Teshera Conservation Area. We have 45 nest boxes at Coldbrook alone. So it's quite a task for them to monitor. It takes several hours every week. And we have nesting tree swallows, eastern bluebirds, black-capped chickadees, lots of house wrens, and now things are kind of winding down. So I just wanted to share a little bit of data that is a couple weeks old, but just to give folks an idea of how many birds we're talking about. The group has monitored 238 nestlings.
Wow.
Of those, 86 have fledged. So that's pretty good nest success for songbirds, actually. And the house wrens continue to nest. Only about 15 or so nest boxes are still being used at Coldbrook. And Thompson's Field does have a few more in use. And some of the bluebirds are actually re-nesting now. They're producing their second clutch of eggs. Because they're a resident species, they're able to nest several times
Clutch.
throughout the breeding season.
Is that a technical term meaning a brood?
Clutch of eggs, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see.
If they have
A batch
to be
of
a brood.
eggs.
Yes.
I
Yes.
haven't ever heard that.
Yeah,
term.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty amazing. That's one season. That's one nesting season.
Yeah,
And these volunteers have been working on
And
this for
speaking
several
of
years.
data, how many volunteers did you have gathering all of that data? How many people are working on that?
It's a group of about 8 birders, and we're always looking for more folks.
They really
who
did a
might
lot
be-
of work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a really great job of documenting everything out there
Yes.
for us in the town.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is.
Okay. Wonderful. Good. So I think you have covered everything that I heard about. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else that you'd like to
Just to mention the Cornelius Pond Woodlands project
yes.
again. We
Okay.
know we've had
That's right.
that project featured on
That's
your
right.
show
Yep.
over the past couple episodes. But we just want to keep it front and center for folks since there's a beautiful photo taken by Gus Romano of the shoreline. So as a summary, 15 acres with more than 1,000 feet of shoreline on Cornelius Pond. So almost the entire westerly shore of this coastal plain pond. Coastal plain ponds named for the coastal plain that was created by the receding glacier about 18,000 years ago. So the melting ice receding northward, carrying that melting ice, that meltwater, carrying silt and other materials from the glacier, draining off into this wider plain that eventually became the Cape as sea level rose. And then there were huge chunks of ice that fell off that glacier and sat in the landscape, melted, created these great big depressions. Groundwater rising filled those depressions. Those are our ponds of today, our kettle hole ponds, of which this is one. There's a meadow also present on the property, wonderful habitat diversity with this collection of meadow habitat, forest habitat, wetlands, and then of course that more than 1,000 feet of pond shoreline. Always a different view, right? This is a very still view of the pond with the shoreline reflected on the surface. We have about $150,000 left to raise by the end of the year in this total $850,000 project. Still a lot to raise. We hope folks can rally around this project, help us preserve both the habitat diversity for a variety of wildlife species, protect the water quality by preserving the land. There's a downy woodpecker, just an example of the many different birds that use this site for foraging, nesting, sheltering. Once we're fortunate enough to preserve it, we will open a future walking trail, we hope, in 2019. So stay tuned
Yes.
and we hope that we can be successful with widespread community support in saving this land.
Right. So we will stay tuned, and
Yes.
people will think about how important it is.
Yes.
Are you planning any walks over there to reacquaint people with the beauty of the place, or do you have any thoughts about?
Right now, it's there is not a walking trail
There's no
on
way
site.
to really go
Right.
there and,
So
and view it
one-
except through the pictures, which are spectacular.
Right, and we do have some of those photos on our website, harwichconservationtrust.org. So
Okay.
at the moment, a virtual visit. There's also a great
okay.
aerial video. But then
On the website?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. So,
Okay. So people should check that out.
yes.
Okay, well, lots going on, as always, preserving the beauty of Harwich. And we're so excited about all your work. It's really great. Thank
Thanks,
you so
Dinah.
much for coming
Thanks,
in.
Dinah.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.